Okay, I think I'm live. Am I? Possibly. Possibly live. Hope I'm live. I think we're up. I'm live. Oh, bloke says I'm live. I'll take his word for it. If he can see me, everyone else can see me. How are we all doing, everyone? I hope you're keeping well out there. So, we're in the spare bedroom. And because the thought of dragging all this crap out to the shed wasn't appealing. Oh, that's rather nice. I got myself 2 bottles of this Pale Ale, Roadworks Brewing Company. It's rather nice. I haven't had that before. So how are we all keeping out there? Just getting into the zone here. So I won't stay on too long with us. I wanted to do this because I haven't done this in quite a while. So I thought we'd have a little chat. So anyone else out there watching me, I've got nothing to say to me. Or it could be a very boring live stream. Otherwise, I shouldn't be looking into this. This is like looking into infinity. There are 7 people watching me anyway. That's a good start. So, how many of you are going to the NVCF? And also, if one of you could give me just a report on my sound. Not that there's anything I can do about the sound. The microphone here, by the way, is only for show. We couldn't get the computer to use any other microphone, only other than the one that's in the little webcam here, which I don't think is wonderful. I didn't want to use this. Roundy Mooney, how are we all doing? I hope you're keeping well out there. How's things, JJ? This time. I'm sorry to hear you're not going, Roundy. Yeah, I know you had expressed an interest in going before, all right? Were you ever to one of the NVCFs before? Or should I say Retrotech now, of course. It's not NVCF anymore, but I suppose those people that have been before, it'll always be the NVCF, you know? Just got a nice bite off it, actually. Let's have a look here. See how good it is. A 4.5, that's reasonable. The sound is okay. Well, I'll go with okay. I know, sort of. I most likely need to be projecting my voice towards the camera a bit. I did make 1 or 2 little practice videos earlier on, but sure, if you can hear me, you can hear me. That's good enough. Roundy Mooney, no, life kept getting in the way, but you'll make it sometime. I'm sure you will. Yeah, absolutely. It's well worth going to. And I was talking to 1 or 2 people over in Ireland I know are going. And I believe there's a record amount of people going from Ireland that haven't been before. So that'll be good. It needs to be supported because I think it costs the British Vintage Wireless Society an awful lot of money to run it. I think it's only a break-even operation these days. What with the cost of the venue and insurance, of course, is a killer now. Absolutely. And the lads that run it are to be commended for the amount of effort they go to, and it's always been a fabulous show. Now, as I've said, it's 2019 since it was there, so we COVID and whatever. Now, I know they had one. There was supposed to be one in 2021 in July, May, but that didn't work out and it got pushed back to September. And I did think about going in September, but between one thing and another, it just didn't work out. I believe September was a success though, so I'm hoping Sunday is going to be a cracking day out. Frosty Gamon's there as well. How are you doing? Yes, my catchphrase has become famous with one and all. How's the Mega Telly? Mrs. Ojnoj will answer that. She wants a smart television. The Megatron isn't smart enough for Mrs. Ojnoj, unfortunately. Yeah, all is well here, Frosty Gaming. All is well. I know you told me your real name before, but I can't remember now just off the top of my head. We've got 15 people tuned in to the Ojnoj live stream. No reefer caps in the spare room, I hope. Well, there could be a few kicking around in here, to be fair, but I think they've all been, they've all let their smoke out. Me, I just have the phone here watching the live stream. It's just a little bit easier than twisting my neck to read the comments. Although it's probably a little bit slower as well. I don't think a fire stick is going to cut it, Mr. Mooney, because she wants to be able to record stuff and all that kind of jazz. It's all above my head. There's nothing on the television I want to watch these days. The only thing I watch on the telly now is... Mariam, what do I watch on the telly? Star Trek. That's on Netflix. Oh, yeah, exactly. You see, we have a smart telly in the bedroom, and I thought that was going to be enough for Panasonic. Is it a Panasonic? No, sorry, it's a Sharp. But it's not very sharp at all. Clever. The reefer cap in the FFS chassis, yes. Entertainment. You see, sometimes we cheat here. We plug things in before we make the video. But that one didn't work out. Star Trek is on now. It's probably on the telly. It's on all the time on Netflix. I think The Next Generation will be my favourite. Although, from time to time I go down a Star Trek rabbit hole, and lately I've been watching a lot of fan-made stuff on YouTube. Some of it's good and some of it's not so good, but it's all entertaining. There was actually, and I can't remember, I come across it last night on YouTube. There was a porno made in the Next Generation style, but actually someone has put it up on YouTube and cut all the naughty scenes out of it. It's pretty good. The acting was actually very good in it, which is quite interesting. Swedish Retrotech Nerd has commented, I like Star Trek, got all the Star Trek movies on VHS, good man, good man. Well, Mrs. Ojnoj and myself have been watching the Picards lately. We actually want to watch tonight when I sign off here. It's not Star Trek, and all the hardcore Star Trek Next Generation fans are very upset about that. But I think you just have to sort of put it in context of what it is. It's never going to be Next Generation, but it's pretty entertaining all the same. I'm sure there's a lot of people here that don't like Star Trek or listen to this. Although I think most techie people like Star Trek. And then I don't upset a few other people by saying I don't like Star Wars. Well, when I say I don't like Star Wars, I never got into Star Wars. It's not something it's not a genre I ever got into. No, Star Trek all the way. Audio Al comments, greetings from the league. Greetings, Al, and welcome to the show. How long have you been subscribed to my channel? Always interesting to see a new name come up on the chat. Nobody's mentioned the Saba radio here behind me, and I thought someone would have mentioned it. Also, you'll notice that I seem to be backwards. I don't know why. I didn't master how to turn it around, but it doesn't really matter. You can still see that it's me. Galaxy Quest. Was that with Tim Allen? I think I've seen that. Yeah, I think I've seen that film already. Yeah, Roundy Mooney. Well, I have to say the Star Trek Discovery or whatever the new one is, I wouldn't be into that at all. I can't get my head around it. It's not Star Trek. It's totally gone away from Gene Roddenberry's vision, completely. And there's a lot of politics and shit gone into it, which, you want to escape from all that. That's why you watch Star Trek, It's escapism. Tell you about the Saba. When you see, I knew someone had asked me about the Saba. The Saba was belonging to John. He bought it off a doctor in Germany back in the early 90s. And he brought it home and he stuck it in his attic. And that was the end of it. I had it up on the bench, but it's not working, and I didn't get into it any further than that. It's working from the AF amplifier up, alright. But it's not working. The oscillator isn't running on either FM or AM, so I haven't gone any further with it. But it has all these German paper caps in it, which are very, very leaky. Rod's Radios has joined us in the chat. Now, Rod has a channel of his own, which is well worth watching. I might, well, I can't stick a link in here, but if you click on Rod's little name thing there, I'm sure it'll bring you to his channel. I think that's how it works. And he does very in-depth radio restoration, something that doesn't happen here. But yeah, he's got great patience for dealing with stuff, and he gets in-depth. So, Rod, welcome aboard, and thanks for tuning in. Good to know you're watching. I don't know, are you going to the show, Rod? If you aren't, you should. It's well worth your while. Now, here we have the Bluetooth Brigade. Yeah, there's a lot of Bluetooth going on. There's a chap on adverts, actually, which we won't say too much about. But Rod, you didn't know about it. Well, you'll know for next year. It's well worth going to. There's a gang of lads from Dublin that go. So we can talk about that privately, maybe. So that's it. All the gear, no idea. Hello, Chris. Welcome on board, Chris. Thanks for tuning in. I see we've 23 people here at the minute watching this nonsense. Chris, I'm sure you'll be going to the NVCF. I think you're in that neck of the woods, Midlands or Northern Midlands. Yeah, you know about your man on adverts, alright, Roundy. Yeah, some lovely radios being destroyed there. I wonder does anyone ever buy them either. I don't see much feedback or whatever for them. It's something I can't get my head around. That destructive Bluetooth method, which is completely unnecessary. Some of you will remember the Pi radio that I found the Bluetooth unit in a couple of years ago. If you haven't seen the video, just stick into your search engine on Ojnoj Pi Bluetooth mess or something. I think it was a disaster. But yeah, it was like a little Bluetooth doofer and a hacked up FM or radio where you use the amplifier section of that, and then you had like a 3-gang socket strip that you get in the pound shop, all wrapped up with duct tape. Oh, Jesus Christ. But I actually had a radio in a very rough cabinet, the exact same, and I put the chassis into the cabinet and all. I actually still have it here. It turned out a good job in the end, but I mean, we can add Bluetooth to these radios without getting without destroying them. I mean, you can keep the original radio as well and just feed the Bluetooth unit into the AF amplifier. No, Chris, I'm sorry to hear you're not going. I was hoping to meet you there. Well, please God, we'll meet up again at some stage. I'm thinking about going to a Galbarn at some stage. I believe it's great and well worth going to. And this, of course, I think it's in Manchester. Or is it? I don't know. I looked up where Galbarn was, and I know it's not far off the boat. I think it's like an hour and a half off the boat. So I could do it in the day, first thing in the morning, and then come back that evening. So I'm thinking strongly of doing that. I might do the next one. I think there's one in September or October. Of course, my end depending on work commitments as well, but it's one I've always would have liked to have seen from everyone talking about. Ray Bourne, you're a new name here as well. I don't think I've seen you comment before. Good evening, Ray. Welcome aboard. We've Cody's back in the chat here now as well. Hello, Cody's. Are you going to the NVCF? Thought you'd have a CR. Well, we have to move with the times as well. Well, you see, the problem here with my little desk is my desk is only. I don't have a CRT computer monitor. Well, I do actually. I have two of them, but they're very, very old and not compatible. But desk is only about 2 feet deep, not even. So it wouldn't work. Wootton Bassett. Where is Wootton Bassett? Is that down south? I think it's Royal Wootton Bassett now because I think there's an airbase there. A lot of soldiers that sadly got killed in action were being flown in there, and they gave it the royal name or whatever you call it. Near Swindon. Huh. Yeah, tube monitors are getting hard to get now. They're probably worth a few quid at this stage as well. The Jedi. Ray Bourne, the Jedi. Yes. I've been down with George. And when Ray talks about George, he's talking about George Donaldson. This is a fellow YouTuber here in Ireland. He's down in Athlone. And he specialises in CB radios and he customises them and he does great stuff with them. I brought down some stuff to him there a while ago. I made a video with George probably a couple of years ago now, and George is a great chap. He's building a motorbike at the minute out of 3 or 4 different motorbikes. He's a gas man. And he's got a beautiful shed that he's after building in his backyard. It's huge. It's the size of this house. And I think he's talking about, you probably build another extension onto the shed. It's going to end up like Father Ted's. Do you remember there was a scene in Father Ted where your man says, well, we built an extension onto the house and then we built another extension onto that and now the house is in a circle. George's shed might end up in a circle if he keeps going, but he's a great chap. So Ray, it's good to know who you are and welcome aboard, Ray. Thanks very much for watching. Ray is a fella who knows what he's talking about, like himself. Yorkshire Rose is here. Hello, Yorkshire Rose. It's good to see you in the chat as well. I know you watch the channel and we do communicate with one another through the comment section from time to time. So welcome on board. Thanks very much for watching. Are you going to the NVCF? I'm going to keep calling Retro Tech the NVCF, by the way. It just rolls off the tongue a little bit easier, I think. The NVCF. Retro Tech. Oh yeah, we run the electricity off the gas and the gas off the electricity. What's your favourite humming sound? Let's see, there's 2 hummings. And then now the first one's a fridge, and that makes a humming noise. And the second one, that's the sound of a man making a humming noise. I knew a lady once, but she died soon after. Cody's is at the NVCF. Well, give us a shout. You'll know me head. I won't be wearing the white coat. A few people have asked me, will you be wearing the white coat to the show? Probably not, no. Because if I walk around the show wearing the white coat, I'll probably end up in a white coat that ties up at the back. It's probably what I need at this stage of the game anyway. Good man. Right. So you got your hands on some of that. Okay. Well, party on. I know he's very excited about one of them. One of them's a really rare model or whatever. So he's very happy with them. They were no use to me, so I let him have them. I knew we'd get a bit of crack out of them anyway and make a few videos on them. I have a couple of CB rigs here, but I don't bother. It's something I might get into in the future. I have a President Lincoln, which Ray will know what that is. Ray, the Saba behind me, no, it doesn't have stereo. It's actually a very early one. It has Lockdown valves in it. It's going back to the either late 40s or early 50s. It's an old one. So I think it was before the stereo ones come out. The DAC 5, yeah. Which is the Cobra and the Adams done. Good man. The Adams, I think, was a fairly rough yoke. I think that was cracked and smashed. So maybe you had a few bits to make up 2 out of 1. You should really... No, I'm not putting the white coat on because I'll end up getting carted away in an ambulance. So I think I'm cracked. Or some poor fecker will have a heart attack and they'll think I'm a doctor. Yeah, no, it is around it's early late 40s, early 50s. I think it's early 50s. I think I actually seen the date in it, but I can't remember now. It's stamped inside it. It could be 51 or 52, something like that. It's one we'll get up on the bench at some stage. Now, I've had it out there myself, and as I said, the AF amplifier is working perfectly, and there's great sound there. It was 2 big speakers in it, 2 different ones, for high and low. But it sounds cracking. The only thing is, I think it might be a push-pull output as well. Real 41s, but it's so bloody big. I mean, it's really heavy. Look, it's the size of a television. It might be hard to tell how big it is here behind me, but it's a bugger. Yorkshire Rose. Oh yeah, White Sapphire. Yeah. I knew it was you because I think you have the same avatar on that as well. Yeah. Switch the radio on and have a tune about. I can't because it doesn't work, Steve. We were just saying that. And besides, with the computer going here, you wouldn't hear anything anyway. The bloody thing throws out an awful amount of hash. I'd have to plug it out. How are you, Rick? Welcome aboard. What is the Telly hiding behind me? Well, it's one I've done a video on before. It's the Bush AA23. We've done a couple of videos on that. We unwrapped it there a while ago. And this mark you can see on the back of it, or on the bottom of it, should I say, is Telly rents. And someone has scraped the Telly rents off. It was probably liberated at some stage out of Telly rents. Your man used to get a fella to burn Telly rents with a hot iron, like a red hot piece of steel, into all the bottom of the sets. So if you have a Bush TV, any Bush TV I always turn them upside down just to see is it a Telly rents one. That's the only one I've ever seen, and I've got quite a few AA23s and A640s and stuff. But Telly rents' official line was when a TV come in and the lights, they used to smash them up. So it's a rare survivor. Now, I'm trying to keep up with comments here, so give me a chance. Chris says the Retrotech is a really good show. It's the best event of the year for us. Well, it is, yeah. I can remember the first year I went with John, rest him, and it was 2012. And I can remember we went over in his car the first year and we stayed in a B&B. And let's just say I booked a place to stay from then on in. I can remember he had a beautiful car. It was he imported it from Japan. It was a Mitsubishi Galant, but it was a Jap one. It was a V6, I think it was a 3 litre or something. It was the business, right? So 2 of us tottled over in that anyway, and I can remember going into the show at 9 o'clock in the morning, and the 2 of us were just, we'd never seen anything like that. There's nothing like that here in Ireland. I mean, the closest thing we get is the Kilmoyne Amateur Radio Show, which is in a classroom. And you might see the odd bit of vintage stuff there, you know, but mostly amateur radio gear. But we loaded that car with stuff that year. Jesus Christ. We bought all before us. It was ridiculous. But great fun. John loved going as well, of course. A few people remember John from floating around in the hall. They mightn't have known who he was or whatever, but he had a distinctive moustache and glasses, you know. He was a gas man. Michael made comments. It was Telly an Irish rental company. It was indeed. It was probably the biggest in Dublin. I think they had 30 or 40,000 televisions on rent at one time. And it was a jail man that owned it. And he owned every shop that they had shops all over Dublin. And he owned all the buildings. As the company built up over the years, he bought all the buildings and put shops in them. And he sold the rental company to Smurfit, I think it was, in the early 80s, 83 or 84, just before the rental market went back, which it did very quick overnight. And he made a fortune. So, Telly Rental's a good one. What am I hunting for on Sunday? I'm not hunting for anything in particular. I'm not. I suppose if I see something that catches me eye, I'm not little bits and pieces. You know, I'm not. There's nothing in particular I want. I've more stuff than I need. I'm sort of after little nicky-nacky things now, you know, maybe an interesting little multimeter or pocket radios or stuff like that. It'll have to be a very interesting television. Yeah, a very interesting television, I would say. None of the run-of-the-mill stuff. I'm not after like a 1400 or a A640 or something because of... Well, there's no 1400s here at the minute, actually. I only ever had one of those, and it died shortly after. But I've more A640s, not know what to do with. But yeah, something that catch me eye. Lots of nicky-nacky things, that's what I would say. But nothing, I'm not on the hunt for any, you know, I'm not saying I want this and that's what I want to go for. But no. Now 100 comments. He likes my videos. Well, thanks very much. I think there's a lot of people that sort of lurk that don't comment on the videos or whatever, but they watch them and they enjoy them, which is good. But I would encourage people to comment and not be shy or whatever, you know. Let me know you're watching or whatever, because it's always good. So is there anyone else here going to the NVCF? Cody's has a box for me if I'll take it. That sounds like a mystery box or something. Yeah, I'll take it. The 1400s were known for that. I'm dying. Yeah, well, the one I had a Mazda airbag in it. The tube was down to air. This is way back in the early days when nobody cared about such things, and I had an A640, and it was knackered as well. The tube was knackered in it, but what I did was just to see if the 1400 chassis was working. I ripped the A640 chassis out, and I put the 1400 chassis into it, and it was working. Well, as I say, I dumped it, and the cabinet and all, everything. Like, there were two scrap right off Telly's. The one thing I should have kept out of 1400 that I regret was the line output transformer, because you can stick them in a lot of different ones. They make a very good substitute. Am I making a holiday over? Yes, well, Mrs. Ojnoj is coming with me too. Mrs. Ojnoj is gone quiet, but she's coming with me as well. So yeah, we're going over Friday. So Friday night, Saturday night, and Sunday night. So we go out for a few drinks around Leamington and that, and entertain ourselves as well. It's going to be a bit of crack. Leamington Spa is a beautiful town for anyone that has never been there. It's a spa town, and people used to go there to take the special water. The name on the water. It's I can't. It's gone out of the top of my head, but I can remember. I'll tell you my story about Leamington Spa. I've recounted this story before, but for anyone who hasn't heard me saying this, I was over there one year. I think it might have been the second or third year I was over there, and I had seen the Conservative MP who used to do Bradshaw's Railway Diaries. His name just won't come into me head now. Michael Portillo, right? He did an episode of Bradshaw's, and he went into Leamington Spa, and there was a tap just beside I think it's the Leam River. There's this little brass tap, and you push it and the water comes out, and the spa water it comes out of this tap, right? And he goes over to the tap and he's talking about people would come here from the London in the 1860s, 70s to recover from the smog and the fog, and they would they would bath in the water and they would drink the spa waters, and they were very good for them. And he has a little cup and he pushes the tap and yes, very refreshing. So anyway, emboldened with a few pints, I was walking down Leamington High Street or whatever you call it, and I seen the tap outside the bathhouse on the bridge in the river. I seen that on the box Portillo, you know. So he goes over to the tap all brave and it pushes the handle down on the tap and it takes cups of water like that. And just as I take a mouthful out of this water, two, I'm going to call them, I don't know, like drug addicts or junkies or whatever, but these two boys anyway were walking by and they shout over, "Don't drink that, mate, it tastes like piss." Fuck me, it did taste like piss. Jesus. It's full of sulphur or something. A unique taste, but yeah. I won't forget the spa waters in Leamington. So I wouldn't recommend, if you see this tap, don't drink. Well, try it for the crack, but I wouldn't recommend it. Don't swallow it. Good man. Now, well, you can introduce yourself to me if you see me head floating around. I do sort of scurry around for the first hour or so to look for bargains. So I might bark at you or something if you come near me. Yeah. Looking for the TRF pre-war radio. Yeah, I can remember one year there, a couple of years ago, there was a even heap of TRF radios there. Well, no, but pre-war radios anyway. I'm sure some of them are TRFs. I'm not on VRAT now. Well, I'll tell you a lie. I am on VRAT. I'll read it. But I'm one of those people that has never made a comment. And I should change that, actually. I should introduce myself. Because I know a few people on there that watch me videos or whatever as well. Yes, Michael Portillo. Peck and sprain, yeah, something similar, alright. Right, I'll be back in a minute because let me get you a bottle of beer. Entertain yourselves there. Oh yeah, Kyle, Mrs. Ojnoj, I think she spilled a pint over the computer or something. Anyway, where were we? Dip. So who else is going to the NVCF? I'm drinking this, it's pale ale. Brewers at work. I don't know, was it Irish made or what is it? No, it's made in the UK, I think. No, Dundalk. Pierce Lyons Brewery. So they're making beer now as well. IPA, yeah. No, pale ale. Not IPA though. I don't know what the difference is, to be honest with you. Now, Roundy, you were telling me you were working on some interesting radio there a while ago. I think it was a pre-war radio, was it? I never had the speckled hen. Well, I don't know if it's India. Yeah, I don't think it's India Pale Ale because there was an IPA beside this, so I think there's a difference. I don't know what the difference is though. I think what's a session ale then? There's a session one where it's not as strong and then you can drink more of it or something. A HMV 650. Is that one of the real snazzy ones with the variable IF bandwidth and all that kind of thing? Did I bottle the smoke out of Normandy? No, I didn't. Jesus Christ. You know what I was thinking of doing for like Halloween? Alright, so people in England mightn't get this because you have Guy Fawkes night. I think you let fireworks off then, but in Ireland traditionally we let fireworks off on Halloween, right? But although fireworks are illegal in Ireland, so it involved getting into a car and driving across the border. And on the border there was fireworks factories. Those are the days, and smuggling fireworks down under children's buggies and things. But I was thinking of getting a whole load of them reefer caps, collecting them all, and then putting them all in parallel across the mains on Halloween night. Something else I always wanted to do, but I have never done it, is to get a huge electrolytic can and just plug it into the mains. You know, solder 50 feet of cable to it and plug it in and see what happens. I believe it should be spectacular. Push full output, 3 shortwave bands. Has it got an RF stage as well? Separate band for TV reception. Has variable selectivity. You're spot on. Yeah, I think I looked into one of them before, alright. You get it for the tenner. Well, you're doing alright to get it for the tenner. Ray, what's your main work in electronics down there? You're not fixing TVs by any chance, are you? I know there's actually a couple of people still around fixing TVs for a living, which is madness. I just noticed my bulb behind me. I'm being lit here very professionally by an angle pies light with the bulb, but the bulb just got an awful lot brighter all of a sudden, so I have a feeling it's going to go ping in a minute. It's bloody blinding me now. So I'm up early in the morning. It's going to be you have to get up around 6 to get down for the boat. So it's going to be a long day. Yeah, get the Verdiac out and wind it down a bit. That would have been an idea, alright. No, I think I'll just let her go. So if I get plunged into darkness here, you'll know what's happened. Oh, you're in the ESB. I went for an apprenticeship in the ESB a couple of years ago and they told me to feck off. Sad. I saved my time as a mechanic a long time ago. Get the Verdiac out, yeah. Rayburn gave up the TV video game a long time ago and just does CB and ham radio stuff now. Good man, you're dead right. Don't know how anyone does the TV game now. Michael Dranfield, who has his own YouTube channel and who watches my videos, I know you watch a few of his, is still running the TV shop. And he does make videos on, shows you, he does fault finding on the flat panel TVs and that. Down to component level, which is now easy task these days. He made a video there recently where he found a little tiny ceramic cap gone short on one of the driver strips. I think it was a Samsung TV. But how you can even charge for the labour to get into that can't be easy. But fair play to anyone who does it. Yeah, well, it might have been you that were. I don't know what you're doing behind that desk now. It could have been your fault, you know. Oh, you thought I was asking you were you still in the TV game or whatever. But you could have been, I don't know. So anyway, going over to the NVCF, I'll be making a couple of little videos over the weekend and I might try and make some sort of a video in the show centre itself. Just give you a look around and what's there and what's not there and stuff. So it should be quite interesting. Now, Ray, TVs take up space. Yeah, they do. They sure do. Them flat ones are a bloody bugger. And one thing that John didn't do in his shop was split them, for the to do the backlights. It's one job he never did because he didn't have the space. You need to have a table now that's about 6 feet wide and at least 12 or 14 feet long, so you can, split the screen, take the back off, split the screen from the front of it or whatever you call it to get in at the backlights. It's a bloody mess. It's not something I'd get into in any hurry at all. No. I think the TV game is up now, but I do know a couple of people that are still at it, and I commend them for sticking at it. It's sad. Now, there's a question I have, and I think Roundy Mooney might be able to help me. This came into my head the other night. I was just thinking about this. We went on a road trip when we first got together, myself and Mrs. Ojnoj. We went on a road trip around Ireland with a little red K11 Micra. We drove all around Ireland. We went up the north and up to Donegal and then down along the west coast, in through Kerry, Cork and back to Dublin. But when we were in Kerry, and I can't even remember what town it was now, but we were going for a walk around, and there was a TV repair shop there that was also an off licence. It's just something that sticks in my head, and I didn't take a picture of it or anything. We were walking by, we were in a hurry to get going again. I just remember turning around to her and saying, look at that, that's a bit odd. And it was a TV repair shop and an off licence. And he actually had, in the window, he'd like an off licence sort of display on one side, and then a couple of TVs and, Sky boxes or whatever the feck on the other side. I just thought it was really odd, and I wonder did anyone else, any of my Irish viewers in Kerry? Yeah, it was in Kerry. Could have been Cork. No, I think it was Kerry, Miriam. Maybe it was Cork. Thought it was Kerry though. I just an off license in a TV shop in one. It's just very odd, you know. It's like one thing we have in Ireland that you would say more down the countryside is the pub is also the Undertakers in a lot of small villages around the country. Maybe Killarney was it? Could have been. I just know if anyone was down there and saying it, they'd remember it. It's not something you'd miss, especially anyone that's into this kind of carry on. Yeah, no, it's changed the norm, alright. But maybe the man that was fixing the teddies was a dipso. Then it'd be very handy, you know. Yeah, the idea appeals to me too. Yeah, a few cans in the old TV shop. You need it to settle your nerves when you're working on one of those 70-inch Panasonic Viera curved, whatever the feck TVs that they have now. The thing with the TVs now is, though, looking at one of Michael Dranfield's videos there recently was, even since John closed his shop in 2018, how the TVs have changed. There's fucking nothing in them now. He had this, I don't know, 50 or 60-inch TV on the bench, and I had a little tiny main board like that, a little tiny power supply like that here, and a little tiny driver board up here. That was it. Nothing in it. I can remember the first flat screen TV I seen. It was probably around 2004, and it was a plasma. It was a Philips. Some of the TV fellas might remember this one. There wasn't enough room in the back of the TV for all the stuff, so I had a separate box and an umbilical cord. And the box was called the media box. And then this umbilical cord that was like that went up and plugged into the back of the panel. And the panel was just a monitor. And it was packed full of boards, one on top of the other and all. And I think it was about 1200 watts or something ridiculous. The heat off was on there. I haven't seen one in years and years. They're obviously all long dead now. Casey's in Killarney. Oh. Teddy Lawless. Now, that Teddy Lawless and the Lawlesses that had the television shop in Malahide. Wenlock TV DX, morning from Australia. What time of the morning is it there? It's probably ridiculous. That's right, yeah. No, John knew the Lawless as well, and he worked with a few of them. You knew John Lawless, yeah. John Lawless used to do a bit of work with it. My John, so like when my John would go on holidays, because he was a one-man band and swords, John Lawless used to look after all these rentals and breakdowns for him. When he'd go away, he'd give them his phone. He'd give them his phone number on the answer machine or whatever, you know. So yeah. Of course, there's still the son has a place in Kinsale. He does the Sony warranty work and that. Yeah, David Tipton is another good man, alright. Another man with more patience than I have. And makes all them snazzy videos, you know, with the jingles and all. What you get here to be fairly raw now and fresh. I'm just looking at myself and you know, I made a Nice job in my haircut, in fairness to her. Although she sliced the neck off me. Yes, Mrs. Ojnoj is actually an electrical engineer, believe it or not. But her favourite thing is to blow up electricity caps with my power supply on the bench. Two places doing Sony warranty work. I don't know. I just know Lawless is doing it in Kinsady. I don't know if there's anyone else doing it. Probably is. Oh, blokey. Now, you see, I'm with old bloke because I go for the lived-in look. Now, maybe that you could say that it's a laziness thing on my behalf, but it's not. I think now it's nice to have one or two radios of each model that look like they did come out of the box. But such is life that's rarely the case, and I think the radio should have. You should keep the look. You can tidy it up, you can clean it up, but I think you should leave it with it. Like I've an A640 behind me here, which is it's a very clean nick, but you could go polishing the cabinet or that on it. But I'm inclined to leave it alone. I got this in a lane downtown years ago, and it has the crown stand underneath it as well. I was very lucky with a beautiful tube in it. The tube was really good. It's dated 84. Don't think it's seeing much use. Yeah, there's a place for both, Roundy. That's the way I see it. Bavs, I don't know that one, Ray. Is that in Dublin or is it down the country? Yeah, there's a place for both. But like that Pi radio that I have in the shed at the minute, the 15A, you can see that someone has changed the reservoir cap and the smoothing cap at it in some stage with an 8 and a 16 and they've soldered in a tag. Now, some people would re-stuff the original electrolytic and do away with that. But those caps are okay, they're working fine. They're not leaky, they're not getting hot. They're still holding they still hold their electrolytic value. And there's no hum out of the radio. There's no reason to go, in my opinion, to go ripping that out. Because some poor outfit 70 years ago went into a lot of effort to repair that radio for someone. And I think that should be preserved with the set. Now, and down the road, as it's my radio, of course, I can, if one of them fails, I can repair it myself. So it's not a panic. If I was giving it to someone or whatever, I would probably have a different approach, of course. But in Bandon, all right, I never heard of them. Yeah, it's part of the history of the set, exactly. Yeah, no, definitely. Keep the lived-in look. Unless a radio is really bad. It has to be clean and tidy enough to bring into the house. And I think they should be used as well. Of course, a lot of us, we do up radios and we never use them after we do them up. Yeah, Roundy, I agree with that sentiment too. Personally, there's two things with me. I don't have the time to get so in depth with one radio because I've got so many radios, TVs, and other stuff. Running repairs is sort of what I'm into. And the other thing is, as you say, if someone is retired, they've all the time in the world, they can put a radio on the bench for a week or 2 weeks and go through it from start to finish. And that's a nice way to be. Peter Joyce, you're another man that I haven't seen before in the chat. How long are you on the scene, Peter? Do I see many 90s TV chassis like ICC 5s, I would imagine, ICC 7s, and so on and forth? Not particularly, no. It's not my cup of tea, per se. I do have a couple of 90s Sony sets. But I'm not off with chassis numbers and things like that. So I can't tell you if I don't recognise those numbers or not. But as I say, they're not really my cup of tea now. Mid-80s would be sort of a cut-off point for me. I'm not really into anything fresher than that, unfortunately. And 10 years ago, people would have stuck their boot through such a thing. But it's coming in now. And a lot of the retro gaming people want Sony televisions. They have a thing for them. And, that's pretty good, They do give cracking pictures when they're right, but when they're wrong, it's a different ball game altogether. Chris did do a good job on a HMV 1121. I think I remember that. That's maybe a year ago or a little bit more. He does lovely work, He really does. But I think he needs to change the name of his YouTube channel, because this idea of all the gear and no idea, I mean, he's not fooling anyone. We know well that he knows where he's at now at this stage of the game. I don't know if he's still in the chat or not. I know we popped his head in earlier on. But it should be some of the gear and all the idea or something like that maybe. Oh, the old, I know the one you're talking about, Roundy. That's the KV 1320 or 1420 or whatever. Yeah, the real early ones. I believe they go for good money. Facebook is not something I use, so I don't see Marketplace, and I believe it's the place to be these days if you're into buying and if you're looking out for stuff like this. So maybe it's something we should look at. But I was on Facebook years ago. It's not my cup of tea, People blowing smoke up on another and whatnot. The G-Deck was the worst thing to the Philips C, though. I seem to remember John working on them. VHS players I never had much interest in either. Well, I suppose it's a type of social media. We're being sociable with one another, but no, I'm not really into it. I think Facebook is sort of a thing. It's becoming a thing in the past, I think. Okay, blokey, you take it easy, pal. We'll see you on Sunday at some stage. You know me much, so say it out. It should be a good show anyway. Looking forward to it. It's going to be a bit of crack. Anyone else here in the chat that hasn't, or is there anyone else watching here that wants to interject here? It's all TikTok now, where people can fire up a little video and show off. That's what it all is, People are getting themselves killed making TikToks. It's bananas. People are losing the run on themselves altogether. Peter Joyce, were you in the TV trade, or what's your interest in televisions? You were? Oh, God, love you. Mrs. Ojnoj does TikTok. She watches TikToks. I don't know what she does be watching. Phone keeps making all sorts of weird noises beside me when she's looking at it. Alright. GHDs in Liverpool. And Peter, are you in England or Ireland at the minute? Liverpool. I think you're still in the north of England somewhere, so excellent. I know it can take a while for people to type responses when I ask questions as well, so I'm cognizant of that. Just in case anyone's wondering what the rest of the pile of stuff here is behind me, and I've been ordered to get this stuff out of the house as well, by the way. There's a Pi 169 here, and the Hitachi CMP, was it a CMP 680? Is in behind that. And then this is an A640 here behind me. And of course the Bush AA23 on top. You have a Strad like the one I fixed. They're a nice radio, aren't they? Yeah, the dial card, you're probably saying that the dial card snapped on mine. But I have it back going again. Again, that's another one that I could go nuts with the cabinet and that, but I'm going to leave it as it is. It's working well and what have you. So I don't see the point in going much further with it. But they're a lovely radio. I think the Joe one has the 4-volt Mazda octave valves in it as well. Really well made, you know. Just post-war, made with loads of surplus military components that were flooding the market at the time. Yours is broken. Oh well. There's only one way to fix that, isn't there? Fix it. Well, you won't be disappointed with its performance. I can't remember what the output valve is, just off the top of my head, but I know it sticks out plenty of power. Oh, TX9, yeah. I have a couple of TX9 here, actually, portables, mind you. No, I don't. I have a 20-inch TX9 hiding somewhere as well. EF34. What's an EF34? This is a... Yeah, I'd say it did. Yeah. There used to be a lot of nasty people who used to charge up caps and throw them on another in various workshops around the place, which isn't a nice thing to do. Not something I ever did myself. I did get a snap off a few flat screen panel boards in my time though. I can remember taking one out with Samsung one day. Samsung was the main one that we saying, by the way, because I don't know, the caps that they put in them, the earlier ones were pretty crap, so they were a good money earner at the time. But I can remember taking the power supply out one and putting it flat on my lap, and needless to say, it was entertaining. I don't know. I don't know what EF34 is. Kevin B does join the check. Hello, Kevin B. Welcome aboard. As you can see, I think there's 22 people watching me now, which is nuts. Thank you all for tuning in here tonight. This is a pre-NVCF live show. I hope to be making a few more little videos over the weekend. Oh, the output valve is an EL34. No, well, it's a Mazda valve, so it wouldn't be an EL34. I don't know. That's getting rather confusing. Edward Norton has just tuned in as well. Oh, there's a lot of people tuning in now. Obviously, some more interesting person has just stopped making a live stream or video now. Might catch up with you a retro like you may very well do. how many times have we left the multimeter probes in the 10 amp current? Yeah, well, I did that once, Peter, with my the best multimeter I have, which is a Fluke 83 Mark III. And I got it off Adverts, which is the local Irish selling site here, a good few years ago now. For a good price, I gave him 50 quid for it. And there's a reason why I gave him 50 quid for it. I had a problem with it that is actually pretty common to Fluke meters, in that the 4-jack inputs on the front are made with, they're a one-piece moulded plastic, and they've got 8 little tiny tag strips at the bottom that solder into the board, and they break if they've had a lot of use. And this one was broken at the board twice. So one of the dodges for this is to get 1/4-inch copper pipe and melt them up into it, and you can foil them and what have you. But so what did I do anyway? One day I did what Kevin B knows I did. I was checking current with something, and then I went to check voltage with something, and there was there wasn't anything because it's a Fluke. It just stopped working, and it was the bloody it was the 10 amp fuse it was after blowing. But yeah, so the fuses are expensive, and they make you just do it once. So I have a cheaper meters that I use for current. I don't use that anymore, so that won't happen. But you learn your lesson, and you don't forget it. The EF50 or the EF50 valve, a load of them floating around here, yeah. I do. The Pi B18T used it as a frame output valve, which is a very odd choice, and you had to select very good ones. You know that the very strong emission ones that are selected have a black line painted across the top of them. So if you're looking for a good one, go for one of those. Oh, okay. Michael Dranfield is in there somewhere. Mrs. Ojnoj seen your comment, but it hasn't popped up. So we'll figure out why you can't comment in a minute if there's a problem there. Welcome on board, Michael. I was talking about you there a few minutes ago, so you must have heard me. Your ears were probably burning. We were just talking about people still in the TV game, which are very few and far between now. 10:10. I won't stay on much longer because I'm early starting tomorrow, but we'll keep going for a few minutes. Maybe half an hour. It's gone quiet, so I'll tell you a story. So, many years ago, John used to send me on house calls, right? And one day he called me and he said there was this old dear up the top of the road. I can't remember her name now, but I can remember I'm very bad with names. I have this thing about names. I find it hard to remember people's names. But anyway, however, he said, let's call her Mrs. O'Toole for the purpose of this conversation. So, Mrs. O'Toole rang the TV shop. And Mrs. O'Toole will come into the TV shop every now and again for vacuum bags, or for a bulb, for a cooker hood, or what have you. But Mrs. O'Toole would never have the right money. So the vacuum bags might be €7.50. Mrs. O'Toole will produce $6.80 in change. And I've no more money. I'll call in with it when I have it. Of course, John used to always say, go ahead. But it wasn't the fact that she was an old spinster there who had no money. She had more money than sense. She lived in this very palatial house at the top of the town. She was just a hungry old, Anyway, Christmas time came round. Mrs. O'Toole rang the TV shop. Our television had stopped working, and could someone please come to fix our television or figure out what's wrong? So John rang up me, and lucky me, he used to give me all these bloody jobs. Anyway, lucky me, I got to go up to Mrs. O'Toole. And so I walked up to Mrs. O'Toole's place and mansion and knocked on the door, and I was greeted to a line of newspaper from the front door into the sitting room, into the corner where she had a sort of a built-in bookcase cabinet thing and a 14-inch television. I don't know what it was. It might have been an Orion or something like that. 14-inch portable in the corner. So I toddles along this line of a newspaper. As I walk past the houseplant, this large houseplant, she was, mind the plant! Right? I don't know what she was expecting. Anyway, I meander my way to the end of this trail of newspaper to the television. And she's a Christmas tree beside the television, illuminated beautifully. And I looked at the television, push the button on the front of the television, no action, So what's wrong with the television? Television doesn't work. Okay. Oh, Jesus. So I'm after going all the way up to this old lady's house, and what had she done? Now, people are unreal. She'd plugged out the television to plug in the Christmas lights. Right? So I thought, Jesus, what am I going to do? Alright. So I thought, alright, I'll open up the plug. Got my multimeter, checked the fuse and all. Messed around for a few minutes. Because I had to make it look like it was doing something. And I knew the type of old bag she was, that if I just said you plugged it out, that to be more, alright? So anyway, I did all that. I says, look, television's fixed now, plugged it in, right? Switched it on. Television's working. That's grand. I says, well, that'll be we're going very easy on this woman now. It's not a million years ago. It says it'll be €25. Oh, I haven't got that kind of money now, but I have 15. I says, alright, give me the 15. You have to drop the €10 down into the TV shop, right? He says, okay, I'll do that. Yeah, well, right. So that's grand. Goes home. Sitting at home watching the telly, about 4:30, phone rings. John, that woman's after ringing again. That TV isn't working. I says, John, television plugged out, She says, well, she says to me that she's after giving you €25 to fix the TV, I says, well, she gave me 15. She's to give 10 to you. Well, she said she gave me 25. I says, oh, Jesus Christ. I says, all right, Mama. Well, you know what? I'm going to go up there for the sport, right? Went back up to the house, knocked on the door. The same. I don't think she lifted the trail of newspaper from the last visit. Christmas trees illuminated. She plugged the bloody TV out again. And plugged the TV. I then pushed the button and it wouldn't work. I says to her, you're after plugging the television now. Do you not say that it won't work if it's not plugged in? And I says, you're telling lies, missus. You told that man you gave me 25 and you gave me 15. Don't bother picking up the phone again. I walked out. But there's some of the reasons why you wouldn't get into the television trade. There's easier ways to make a few quid. So, during that ramble, who else was coming? Okay, good night, Yorkshire Rose. I shall see you in the near future. Mike Drainfield, Mike Drainfield is he's a YouTuber. Just put Michael Drainfield into YouTube and you'll find him, Peter. He's still making videos, still running a TV repair shop. Yeah, Miriam's heard this story more times than she. Yeah. No, she wanted to pay me with Green Shield stamps. Puff and Go asked me, why does lead and zinc have a higher melting point separately than 2040 solar? I don't know. That's a good question, though. We should look into that. But it's not zinc, it's tin, isn't it? Lead and tin. I should have charged her for it. Well, you see, Roundy, there's no point trying to get blood out of a stone. But I did get my own back on her, actually. Here's the thing that I was forgetting. So anyway, there and all that jazz, and that was quite funny. About 6 months later, John was away or whatever, and I used to run the TV shop when he'd be away. Of course, this is back in the day when it was only 4 doors up from the house, you know. So I was running the TV shop. He was gone away for a week on holiday or whatever. I was in the shop. Who walks in the door? Only the old dear looking for a packet of vacuum bags. Right? So she comes in anyway. I recognised her. She didn't recognise me, you know. But I'm there in the white coat, of course. And she says, I need a packet of vacuum bags for this. She had the box off the old ones, you know, Mealy S5330 or whatever it was, I can't remember. One of them, I went routing through John's very organised vacuum cleaner bag storage unit, which was basically just a big pile of vacuum bags and boxes of all different types, just packed in the corner. Now, he knew exactly where everything was, but it used to take me a little bit longer. Anyway, I routed them out, and it was $7.50 or maybe $8.50 or something like that. Anyway, says Mealy Hoover bags, $8.50 please, and she did the same owl act again with the, well, I've got $5.30. Because she was expecting the answer she would have got off John, which was, she'll drop it in when you have it. And I says, that's all right, missus. The Hoover bags will be here when you have it. Back in the car. She didn't come back. But I bet she didn't go into Power City or Harvey Norman or one of them and argue the toss either. Oh, I know the one you're talking about, Mark. Is it like a KT3 or something like? No, it's later than that again, I think maybe. I do know the set you're talking about though. I had a little sliding door and I had I think it was I think it was a push button switch to turn the speaker off and you plugged in there. Yeah, I've come across that actually. Yeah, very true. You're still here. Oh, I thought you were going to bed and you said it was time for tea and crumpets. I didn't realise you were going to have the tea and crumpets and watch the video at the same time. Very good, very good. CP90. I had one of those. Yes. I think I may have let it on. I don't think I have it anymore. I can remember. George Donaldson's in the chat. Jesus, George. How are you, George? Your pal Ray was floating around there earlier on. You might still be there. So you talk among yourselves. Gas. I was telling everyone what a gas man you are, and you're making a motorbike. It's like Johnny Cash's car, you know. I'm getting on the finest. We're going over to a vintage radio show here tomorrow. It's on Sunday though. I don't think there's a comparable show for CB radio, is there? There should be. One piece at a time, yeah, that's it. Where are we? Peter Joyce is off to bed. Good night, Peter, and thanks for calling in. Was that the part about the seat tuning? No, I don't think so. No. Well, the one I had was manual tuning. I'll be back in a minute, lads. All right. Entertain yourselves there in the chat, please. Now, boys and girls on YouTube. That's what Michael Dranfield says. Mariam, by the way, did you figure out why Michael Dranfield can't comment or whatever? We need to get him in the chat if he's knocking around. Sometimes YouTube does weird things. It thinks that people are spam for some reason or whatever. And it knocks. Now, George, a gentleman never asks. For fuck's sake. I'm going to drink this and then I'm going to bed. So that's going to take between 10 and 15 minutes. So you are forewarned. But the chat may be coming to an end. You were using a CP90 just today. George isn't a gentleman. That's a lie, George. I know you're that gent. The CP90 that I had, one thing to watch out for anyone that has one, short electrolytic capacitors. Alright. And the one that I had gave me the runaround, and I actually brought it over to John, and he got the better of it. Oh, we've 27 people watching now. Hopefully a few more will tune in again. George, you used to do a live stream now. You used to do a couple of live streams when you were on 40 metres and that, which I thought was quite interesting. Any chance of you doing a few more there? I wouldn't actually mind trying to make a bit of an LHF contact with you at some stage. Could be interesting. Although not at the minute because HF gear is actually out of action at the minute. No, never. No one ever watched them. That's what I seen. Well, I watched them after the fact because I didn't know they were live at the time. But no, we did. I did watch one of your ones live. You were on 40 metres. And it was in the daytime. I tried tuning into you, but I couldn't hear you. You were skipping over me. I see. No, because the live streams of the amateur radio is kind of interesting because it gives an idea of, propagation and where people can hear you and where they can't in live time. It can be quite interesting. A caravan with about 14 dozen. Oh, sorry, a dozen. I don't know where did the 14. With a dozen old Sony CRT sets from. Should I hold on to them or sell them? I can't tell you because what I'm going to give you an example of and what could happen to you. The Danzet record market a couple of years ago. So, as people may remember, portable record players about 10, 15 years ago, for some reason, went from being crap that I used to like me fire with, just skyrocketed in value over the space of about 2 years and stayed solidly up for, I'm going to say, up until about 5 or 6 years ago. And then just nosedived off the edge of a cliff, right? And I have a feeling that the same thing's going to happen with Sony CRT sets. That they're either on the way up or they're there. But at some stage, the retro gaming community is going to move on to, they're going to find something better or, and it's going to go do that. So I don't think they'll hold their value forever. Another example is pre-war televisions. Pre-war televisions, 10 years ago, 15 years ago, were stupid money. But I think that's it's plateaued and it's on the way down again. And we're seeing televisions that aren't so old now starting to nose up into big figures. This lot could actually be worth a couple of bob, even though to me it's, interesting scrap. Actually, I think I had another Philips television. That might have been I think I had a 20-inch CP90 as well. Is that right? Did they make a 20-inch one of those? I remember actually buying a lot for it off Donberry, and that would be about 10 years ago. No, Sony sets are good when they're working, but when they're not working, I wouldn't want to be getting too involved in them. take a special mindset to work on. Andrew Bancroft. Hello, Andrew. Welcome aboard. Is this your first time? I haven't seen your name in the comment section before. Roundy, Donberg are still going. They still have a website up and that, but I don't think they're not as big as the ones were. I mean, they had a massive staff up there at one stage. You know, they had a big warehouse. Mrs. Donberg used to run it. She's a German lady, hence the name Donberg. And that's the reason why they had Koenig test equipment, which was obviously German as well. P4L fully times. Ahoy! Ahoy! P4L. Yeah, head case. So yeah, that was Donberg. John actually paid a visit to a schoolmaster's house in Donegal once he was on holiday up there, and Mrs. Donberg gave him a tour of the facility. He spent a lot of money with her at the time, as did many TV outfits around the country. Obviously, that's all long since passed. So I think Mrs. Donberg struggles by on just supplying obsolete parts for stuff and that kind of thing. The typewritten catalogue. I think I might have one of those catalogues kicking around here somewhere. Mick used to use them. Oh yeah, or Mick, yeah, he did, yeah, but he fed out with them. He thought they were too pricey in the end. Nice man too. I made a video with him down in Athlone. Actually, the same day I was down with you, George. It's on the channel somewhere. I interviewed him. A nice man. Yeah, no, they know what the thing with Donberg now is they've done their homework on eBay or whatever, and they know what's rare and they're pricing accordingly. I think they had G8 Glops up there at one stage for like 120 quid or something. He got a 7300 though. He must have got that since I was down there, so he's upgraded. He's obviously leaving the old TR7s alone. He was an awful man for Drake TR7s. I think he's 4 or 5 of them down there. Yeah, I'll have to pay him another visit, and I'll have to pay you another visit as well, George. We'll have to. I wonder, would Ray be up for me visiting him at some stage and making a video? You needn't answer that now, Ray. Either way, but it could be good to have a chat anyway. Yeah, I'm amazed I've survived 2 roundy, but because when John was closing the shop, there was a lady called Mara working there. She used to answer the phone. She said that there was only, I think she said 6 or 7 TV repair shops left ordering. Proper actual TV repair shops. I'm not talking about a fella fixing TVs in his shed or whatever. And that was 4 years ago. So I wonder how many. I don't know. Well, I suppose there are, like Lawless, of course. He's repairing TVs or whatever. He's a proper TV repair shop. I suppose the TV repair shops that we would remember are finished. All right, Ray. Well, we can organise that. My email address is on the channel, so if you want to bang me an email, then I can bang you an email. We could organise something that could be a bit cool. The old dear. Yeah, well, there's a problem. I'll just say there, Kevin B has commented, there's a lot of stuff out of stock. There's a problem because there's a big problem coming down the tracks with getting hold of gear. Because Chinese have been in lockdown so many times for the last year. Stuff isn't getting out. Stuff's not getting made. And it's going to be a serious issue. And I think one thing I noticed is, and I don't know if anyone else has noticed this as well. I went on AliExpress the other day to order. I get most of my gear off AliExpress because there's no hurry on me. I'm not overly. I've never had any real problem with the quality of the stuff that I buy. But I'll just give you an example. Usually I would go on and buy 100 0.01 630 microfarad caps, right? They're the most common capacitor I use in the oval gear, right? And there was no problem. You go and buy 100. I ordered 30 and it wouldn't let me order any more. So they're limiting how much they'll sell to people. So I think there's a serious problem there, that they just haven't got the stuff. Hasn't been made. And the price is the other problem. As we all know, the price of everything has just gone fucking astronomical. Electrolytic capacitors are just gone ridiculous. Which is a problem when you're into fixing TVs, when you've got a 270 microfarad cap at 400 volts or whatever. That's an expensive hobby now to be buying stuff like that. Yeah, George, you can do that. Tell him what I'd say to you, Ray, is send me a WhatsApp maybe first, if you're going to get in touch. I can send you an email, whatever. Just we can have a chat. Roundy Mooney used to have a TR7. Roundy, are you an amateur radio man as well? No need to give your call sign on air. So Yorkshire Rose, are you going to sell all your Sony CRTs? Alright, Ray, you can bell me with a WhatsApp. That'll work out very well. You passed the test and never took the licence out. Well, I passed the test and took the licence out, but I rarely use it. So we're almost in the same one. Of course, you have your licence forever, so you can send it in whenever you like. Dinosaur. You can't be a dinosaur if he's using WhatsApp. I'd say he's a dinosaur if he's using emails and not WhatsApp. But if he's using WhatsApp, he's not a dinosaur as such. Dinosaur. I don't know about the pallet shortage. I don't know about pallet shortage because of Ukraine. The whole thing's a mess as well. He doesn't use WhatsApp a lot. I use WhatsApp all the time. It's very handy. Let's see, where are we? There's 30 people watching. You know what I find quite interesting when I'm watching the statistics here on the computer shop. When it goes down, around 22 people watching. Then it'll go up sort of 35 people watching. But what are these people doing? Are they just tuning in now? I don't know. I'll have to have a look and see exactly what I have. I also have 14-inch sets in the shed as well. Yeah, it's hard to know, but look at eBay or whatever. I don't really keep up with the prices of stuff, to be honest with you. I rarely look at eBay or that. But I think it might be a time to sell. I have a feeling, and I could be wrong, but I have a feeling that the CRT market is probably at the top, Of course, I'm not so inclined to want to sell myself. I don't have much to be of any use to them, though. I have actually sold a couple of Sony portable monitor things in the past. Steve's Vintage Electronics Long Stay Workshop. Hello, Steve. Welcome aboard. Good to see you. We haven't met in person since 2019, of course. When we met up over at the show. So you've told me already that you're not going to the show this year, so I'm sorry to hear that. You're working on a Philips EL3510. That sounds like some sort of a reel-to-reel tape player. Correct me if I'm wrong. And of course, if it's a Philips, it's not going to be a friendly job. For everyone else watching that may not be aware of Steve has a YouTube channel where he gets very involved with stuff that nobody else would want or entertain. So, good man, MFD 70 with the, of course, the Regent Country RT as his avatar. Has been watching me on a Fire Stick, so I would not say him. No, I wouldn't. it does say that in my analytics that you won't see certain viewers or whatever because they're watching on devices that are hidden or some nonsense or other. Oh, very well. It's a horrible deck. Yeah, it sounds horrible, alright. I sort of avoid Philips. I tell you what, I have a great dislike for is Philips radios from the 50s with piano keys on them. Don't ask me why, but I don't like them. Well, I do know why, because they're a bloody nightmare. The HT on the wafers burns out the wafers and stuff like that. And of course, the dial cards are ridiculous. Dial cards going in through little cables and stuff, and it's a fucking mess. Steve, just off the top of my head, I can't remember. What's your mate's name that's also on YouTube? I want to give him a shout out. It's Vintage Electronics Workshop, I think. I just can't think of his name. It's another YouTube channel as well that does vintage radio repair and other stuff. Charlie VHS deck. I can remember John working on those in the TV shop. Not a friendly machine either. Name I need. No. Philips had a very unusual way of doing things. I have in my collection, to be restored at some stage, a V7A. Now, if anyone that's watching that knows what a V7A is, I'm going to leave it to you to tell everyone else what that is, and then if no one else can come up with the answer, I'll tell you. I have a feeling that Steve will know. Audio Al may know. Ray Bourne may know. So what's a V7A? It's a radio, but I want you to tell me what's so unusual about it and why it's such a bastard to work on. I'm waiting for someone to give me the answer, but surely someone knows. This is rather confusing looking at the monitor here because it's one of these infinity things, you know. You go down into the rabbit hole and you'll be lost forever. Alright, I'm going to tell you because someone's always getting it. The V7A is a small Bakelite radio, pre-war, 1937, 1938. The Eindhoven ones are nasty. Yeah, well, you see over in Holland they can smoke the banger, you see, so they're off the head when they're designing these things. It's about that deep, right? Very small for a pre-war radio, but all the stuff, there's no chassis, so the valve holders all the components are screwed to the inside of this. So to do them up, you have to take everything out of the cabinet. And of course they're filled with this rubber coated yellow wire, and all that's gone into mush, and the hull has to be replaced. Nightmare. I'm looking at it, and one day I might tackle it, but I need a good bit of bench space before I go it. Right, Bourne, I thought you were knocking around back then, no? Yeah, the Eindhoven people were a bit strange, Arlie. Ray was on the design team. Maybe he was smoking the banger as well, was he, George? Right, I'm going to ask you a question now. Melvin, how are you, Melvin? Welcome aboard. Andy's the man's name. Just wouldn't come into my head there. Andy, tell me, Steve, is Andy going to the NVCF? Just as a matter of interest. Wouldn't mind having a chat with him. Obviously, I've seen him on YouTube a few times and that. but I've never actually met him in person. I'm sorry to hear you're not going as well. Actually, would like to meet up with you again, but I'm sure we meet up again further on down the road. I know the two of you get together every now and again, and I have to say you're very entertaining. When I say is most of the time I'm in work actually, because I work every Sunday, but it does be entertaining when I do get to, don't think so. That's a shame. That's a shame. Well, I tell you what, Steve, if I get to a Galbarn, I might get to meet the two of you there. I'm thinking strongly of taking a day off the next Galbarn and driving over just for the day on the Sunday. You know, first boat over, you know, evening boat back. Because it's only about an hour and a half up to Manchester from Holyhead. I think it'd be a bit of crack, you know. I always wanted to go to Galbarn. It looks like a great place. Yeah, I've seen Chris All the Gear, no idea, did a video on it there a while ago. It looked like there was a tasty selection of gear there, so I wouldn't mind having a snoop. Tell me this just off the top of your head. Do you have to be a BVWS member to get into Galbarn? I'm not actually a member of the BVWS. I think you do for Wootton Ambassador, right? But I'm not sure. Another place I want to go to as well, I don't know if anyone has ever been, is the Radio Museum in Dulwich. I'd love to get down there for a look around. It looks fascinating. Now I'm driving over, going over in the boat tomorrow. A few bits and pieces to do before I get down there. I'm looking forward to it. I always drive over. There's no point flying, you know. Oh, you can pay a Galbarn without being a member. Okay. Well, I was actually thinking of joining the BVWS, but never got around to it. Well, George, they might have a few CBs kicking around. I have to say, the NVCF, there's such a wide variety of stuff there. There's usually, you know, from vintage TVs and radios and all this scrap behind me. But then you'll see amateur radio gear there. You probably would see a little bit of CB stuff, not much. Then anyone that's into music and vinyl, there's a couple of people there, you know, record dealers or that, some very interesting, varied record collections, you know, obscure rock music and stuff like that. Yeah, I would have loved to have met Jerry Wells as well. For anyone who doesn't know, Jerry Wells has lived a fascinating life. I've read a little bit about his story, you know, his life story. But basically, he was running around all the bomb sites after the war, or during the war, as sort of a 13, 14, 15-year-old. You know, when the houses would get bombed, he'd get up in the morning then and run in and try and, you know, nick a radio or two, or whatever might be left. And I believe he came to the attention of the authorities for raiding bomb sites, but he turned himself around anyway and became an engineer. And I think he worked as a design engineer for, I can't remember, some radio. It might have been Murphy's at some stage. He did all sorts of things. He built from scratch his own television set, and he did a little production run of these and sold them. One of them come up in the UK Vintage Radio Forum there a while ago. Very interesting chap. Turned his whole house in Dulwich into a radio museum. Now, I believe the house has been sold, but his radio museum and sheds in the garden has been divided, and that's now in the ownership of the BVWS, or I think there's a separate group. I don't know the ins and outs of it, but it is to be preserved forevermore. And hopefully someday I'll get to go down there and have a look at it and maybe make a video. Another video I'm going to make at some stage too in the future, in the near future, I hope, is I'm going to do a video on the Martello Tower of Hout, all being well, and a little tour of that and the bits and pieces that are there. A radio museum in a Martello Tower. And The Martello Tower itself was used by Marconi for radio experiments back in the early 1900s. The Hurdy-Gurdy Roundy. Have you ever been to the Hurdy-Gurdy Roundy? UK FM shy. There's a YouTube channel called, I think it's UK FMCB or something like that. I don't think you're a fan of him then. And he'll only do UK FM CB radio. Enda Dalton. Hello, Enda. Welcome aboard. Ray was there with Marconi that day. He must have been setting the gap on the spark transmitter, was he? Oh, brilliant. Hello, Enda. I don't think I've seen you in the chat here either before. Are you in Ireland or the UK? And how long have you been watching me? As a matter of interest. I like to know who people are, you know. Like, I have got, at the minute, the latest count, now it goes up and down, but the latest count was 1,835 subscribers, which I think is pretty good. As I've often said to people, I'm amazed that anyone watches me. There's only 24 people watching me now, someone's turned off. But that watches this or watches me or has an interest in this, and I think it's great, and it's a little community in itself. Another celebration for the 2000. Well, I have to ask Mrs. Jonjo, will she? Or Mrs. Ojnoj, Mrs. Jonjo. It depends who I'm talking to. Will she make me another cake? Please, God, she will. I am flying at George. Now, George, of course, is YouTube royalty at this stage. I think he's got nearly 5,000 subscribers, so he's really flying. But, of course, George does a much more varied amount of stuff than I do. Just coming up on the $5,000. Yeah, nice one, George. It's very niche what I'm doing. So, you know, there's not that many people that are going to be interested in televisions of UK Irish origin, or radios of UK origin, Irish origin. Of course, the channel title says it all. Ojnoj, which is Jonjo backwards, Irish vintage TV and radio. Now, when you take a look at other YouTubers who are doing it in the same similar genre, any excuse for the cake, Mrs. Ojnoj absolutely loves bacon, all right? And she's excellent at it. She's a wonderful cook. I am fed. Like, I'm as fat as a tick. You remember when I started? Yeah, I know. It's a long time ago. I don't think you watched the first video I made, though. You come along a little bit later than that. When you look at people like Shango66, right? So he's synonymous with vintage TV, right? And you look at him and you go, well, he's got, he's licking the arse at 70,000 subscribers. Look at the size of America, and look at the, you know, how many people are in America? 160 million or something, right? So when you scale that, there's going to be plenty of gobbers that like vintage TVs in that, and they're going to subscribe to him, and they're into what he does. Now, I could take it or leave him, to be honest with you. I think he's very good at what he does. He knows what he's talking about for sure. But, you know, it doesn't translate to what we're into in some aspects. JP Dillon is another one. Yeah, I haven't seen him in ages. He blew up. He got banned off YouTube, or deleted or something or other, and then all of a sudden came back with a bang, and he's probably up around 17 or 18,000 subscribers as well. But there's a difference. Ray's favourite, Glasslinger. Well, I've seen Glasslinger. Yeah. Interesting stuff. In fairness, someone who really knows what they're doing, you know, and they're making their own vows and and that, but there's aspects of it that, interesting stuff. Does anyone remember my first ever YouTube video? I can remember the first ever YouTube video I made, which of course I've spoken about at length greatly here. So the first video I ever made was in It was 2019, I think. Mrs. Jones will correct me if I'm wrong. But I went out to the shed. I've been talking about for a long time, a long, long time, probably 3 or 4 years. You know, I should make a YouTube channel about the shit that I to be at with the old Tellys and that. So we were here one Christmas, we had a few cans or whatever, and she said, "Go on out and make a YouTube video now." Alright? Says, go on, John. If you don't start, you won't have a starting point. So I went out to the video and I made a little short snippet of the Dutch pirate on the top of medium wave band. Dutch pirates as received in Ireland, and I remember I came in, I uploaded, didn't know what I was doing, and I uploaded the video. We sat there, we kept watching it and watching it and watching it. Oh, look, 3 viewers. Well, we've watched it 3 times. Oh, look, 7 viewers. Yeah, watched it. And then it was like 13 viewers. Oh, we've only watched it 12 times. A real person has watched the video. So, and then at the start, I was afraid of being on camera. I didn't really want to get my face on the camera. So for the first couple of months, I was very standoffish with the YouTube, and you can see that when you look through my back catalogue. How I didn't really want to, get the personality involved, but I sort of came to a realization then that, you know what, John Joe, you know, you're videoed everywhere you go now. Your face is everywhere. Sure, fuck it doesn't matter, you know. So I just came in front of the camera, and I think I've started to come on to being able to talk to the camera reasonably well. In fact, I'd love to take up an acting career now, you know. To be or not to be? That is the question. I'm no, probably not. Radio, TV, phone, or things like that. Yeah, he's another American. Yeah, very good too. Oh, I think Roundy Mooney. I think I know who you're talking about. If it's the fella that I'm thinking of, is it the fella that uses a really weird, scary-looking puppet? Yeah. Well, Kevin B, you see how polished my videos are, which are about as polished as what I leave in the toilet in the morning. So I think you'd be glad. Have a go at it. Don't be afraid. And if it doesn't work out, you can always delete it all and forget about it. Right? I would encourage absolutely anyone. And you don't need any. I mean, I simply don't have the time to get into the, the video editing and all that kind of shit. I've tried it and it just takes too long. It soaks up hours. It could take you 4 or 5 hours to edit a video to 15 minutes long. So I don't do it. So what I've done is, when I go out to the shed and I make a video, I do it in one take. Now what I might do is I might pause the recording in between what I'm doing and whatever. But the majority of my videos are in one take. And I think that has actually sharpened me a bit to know, right, well, here you are, John Joe, you're about to make this video. Have in your head what you're going to say to these people, have in your head what you're going to do with whatever it is, piece of shit you have on the bench or whatever, and just go at it, you know? Whereas you can procrastinate too long if you go, I might have said that, this and that. Just go at it. So I would encourage absolutely anyone to have a shot at the old YouTube. It's a piece of piss, and after all, YouTube was made for amateur people at home making videos. It wasn't made for all these fucking pop stars and all the bullshit that you see on YouTube these days that's being pushed. It was made for the gobshite that was putting up a video of his cat licking a fucking ice cream or whatever. And that's what it's all about. So no, have a go with it. Don't be afraid. Crossroads isn't on the air anymore. Absolutely, George Johnson has it down to a T. There's loads of lads. I could probably get 30 or 40,000 subscribers in 6 months, if I started acting a maggot and being someone that I'm not. But what's the point in that? Nobody wants to watch me as I am anyway. But no, be yourself. Put up what you're interested in. It's only a hobby. I'm never going to make a fortune making YouTube videos. I do make a couple of quid. I have the ads. That couple of quid goes towards the ESB. ESB being the electricity bill, the electricity supply board. That's what that stands for here in Ireland. Which isn't cheap these days, I can tell you. It doesn't even cover what I use in the shed. I get about between 25 and 30 euro a month out of YouTube, depending on my output. Now, I know my output in the last, since Christmas, has been sporadic because I've been up to my eyes with other stuff. If I keep at it and regular, it goes up to maybe, it could go up to like 40 or whatever. But it all depends on how many people are watching. But, you know, I mean, Jesus, you'll never be a millionaire making YouTube videos. Them days are gone. Have a go, Kevin. Make a video, put it up, and see what happens. No audio. I've never thought about getting a vintage audio club together. I tell you, I am a bit of what you might call an isolationist. I sort of tiddle along here on my own and do my own thing, and I don't, I don't really overly involve other people with it or that as such. Although I'm willing to help people out when that need arises or whatever. But there is a vintage radio club in Ireland, the Irish Vintage Radio and Sound Society, I think it is, off the top of my head. So there is something there. Yeah, well, there'll be more. Yeah, George Donson there. Yeah, there'll be more people interested in the shed because there's going to be an awful lot of people going on YouTube. How do I build a shed? You know, I like motorbikes. There's more people interested in all motorbikes than there is in all radios. That's a given. And certainly more again than interested in more old radios than there is old televisions. You know, televisions here is a very niche subject. You know, I don't know. I know of a couple of people in Ireland collecting televisions. A couple, but both hands could count them. Now, obviously, there's going to be people that are on their own doing it as well, who don't want anyone to know what they're at or whatever, which is fair enough, but still, you know, if there was 50 people that collecting televisions in Ireland, I'd be incredibly surprised. Well, I'll tell you what, Kevin B, as well. You let us know when you're making your YouTube video, and we'll give you a shout out here, point people in your direction. Old televisions are too hard to repair for many people. Well, you say that, but they aren't, because I actually find many instances vintage television is actually easier to repair, because once you get something up on the tube, right, you get your line time base running, and you have some sort of voltage going to the tube, it tells you what's wrong. And it's all in different sections, you know. So, you know, line across the screen, frame stage isn't working. No sound, right? Sound or IF. Snowy picture, IF problem. Tuner problem, whatever. The television will point you in the direction of what's wrong. And it's very easy to get, you know, something up on the screen, you know. So, whereas a radio can be dead and quiet and doing nothing. God knows what's wrong. You have to start at the beginning and work all the way through the different sections. See, you don't see 70% of the CV rigs in Ireland. I'd fucking well believe it too. How many people in Ireland are on CB? I know there's a few up around Dublin. And actually, there was a chap recently that actually got a license for what's the expression? George, I don't know. Private radio license or whatever, and he had a repeater up in the mountains. on UHF near the 77s band, and they were all using that. But it seems to have gone quiet now. No, not PMR. No, it was you actually got a business license to use radio. It was near the 77 span though. It's sort of in between 77s and PMR, but it was a private license. There's a lot more, but I don't know. Is there? Have they died? Has it died off? Because I remember during the lockdown, the first month of the lockdown, I actually took off work. They were looking the job that I have. They were looking for people to take annual leave at the time because they were, I don't know, overstaffed or whatever the fuck. And I came home for the month, and I was on 2 meters, and 2 meters was hopping for that month. I think it was March or April, the month of April, 2020. 2 meters was absolutely alive, and everyone that was on 2 meters was telling you, "Oh, I got licensed back in '96. I haven't used the rig. I'm after pulling it out of the wardrobe. I haven't been on the air since '97." All this kind of carry on, and if I went out in 2 meters tonight and put a car out, I may as well shout in the toilet bowl. So I think a lot of us died off. It wasn't 446 George, but it was it was a license. You got the license off Comrade. Maybe it was 446 is the PMR, the public one, isn't it? No, this chap he actually put a repeater up in the Dublin Mountains himself, and all the CB lads were using it. But I think it's died since. I think he paid bloody good money for the license too. That was the thing. I think some of the lads were giving a couple of quid towards it, you know. One of the first TVs I repaired was an ITT CVC5 back in 2015. And I imagined it would be. It wasn't as bad as I had imagined it would be, only after really working on radios. No, they're not. You see, if they're anyway halfway working at all, it points you to what's wrong. I have a CVC5 in the shed, which I must dig out at some stage and make a video on because it's a lovely set. I got off a very nice gentleman on the UK VR. Gave it to me. Good couple of years ago. My father collected it. He lives in England. And it had been dropped at some stage and it was a crack all the way up to PCB. But we got it going. Now, it wasn't great. I wanted to be converged and that, but it was working well. A very well-made television. Yes, so we must dig that one out as an excellent tube in it as well. I am going to sign off in the next couple of minutes. I'm going to let you know that now. You have been forewarned. I have to get up very early in the morning to make my way to the boat, to make my way to the UK. I'm bringing a bit of stuff over for the BVWS stall. Nothing too interesting, so don't get excited. But I'm just wondering what the customs are going to have to say to me. Now, I was talking to a chap from Ireland here who was over there well to the September now, and customs didn't stop him, and they were very interested in what he had, but they didn't get too involved. He just said, got broken radios or whatever, and don't have any value, and they were happy enough to accept that. But things have changed. All right, George. Good night, George. Thank you for tuning in. We'll catch you again in the next one at some stage. Jonathan Williams. Thank you, Jonathan. Thanks for tuning in. No, I think we're at the end of our tether here now. It's 80 time to sign off. Alright, sign off is what I'm going to do. I'm going to say goodnight to you all. Thank you all for tuning in. All the different people have tuned in and out over the night. It has been interesting to talk to you all. Of those of you going to the NVCF, I wish you a safe trip there and home, and I hope to see you at it. and it should be a lot of fun. If you see me, say hello, and we'll have a little chat about crap. And we'll catch you again in the next one, as George always says. I'll see you all soon. I hope to put up a few videos over the weekend, just over bits and pieces of shit that we're doing over in the UK. Items of interest. I hope to make a video at the NVCF of some description or other. Mrs. Ojnoj, I'm sure, will start at some stage in the videos as well. And the two of us are going to enjoy seeing you all at the show. Thank you all for tuning in. And good night. Good night, everyone.